Hello and welcome. I am Ben the Best 5 and this is the second episode of my ISS recreation. Now this one is a little bit shorter. I'm only launching 3 modules because the last one was about 17 minutes, but my analytics show that people actually generally want to watch 10 minutes worth of content. So I'm only launching 3 this time, and let me know what you guys think. Anyway, this module here I'm launching is in fact not really a module. It's rather a Soyuz rocket, as some of the more rocket-minded of you might have realized. I am in fact sending up the first crew because in my last video I got the station to the state where crew habited it, and so now I'm setting up a crew. This serves two purposes. It means that I've got crew, which is cool, and it also means that I've got a Soyuz there which I can use to rearrange stuff, because although having a Canada arm and MBX and a Dexter robot up there would be very cool, Kerbal Space Program, it's just, its robotics are still a bit buggy, and I'm using a lot of them at the moment for my station, and I would really like to reduce the number, and I would like to reduce, for example, my reliance on parts connected to other parts with robotics, just because that'd just be ideal. Plus, currently the closest way that you can actually do something like a counter arm would be to have a small advanced grabbing unit, which is, well, quite frankly too large for something like a counter arm, which realistically needs to be a lot smaller than that. And I can't use grapple fixtures, which, I mean, that's not a problem. I'd much rather use a claw because that would just make the operation so much easier, but I mean, because there's no grapple fixtures on it, it means that there's actually no way that I can attach it to vehicles to launch it, just to make it even more harder. Anyway, here's my Soyuz. Hope you like it. It's a pretty cool replica, I think. And here it is, just docking at the station. Now you might notice that my station looks a bit worse for wear, and that is because, well, as mentioned earlier, my station, it's a bit of a buggy mess, because all of those robotic parts like to, I guess you could say, malfunction a little bit, and they just like to set themselves to random values, it seems. So yeah, I did manage to fix it after a little bit, but yeah, it took some dealing with. Basically, I just play around with the what's it called, the control thing that I use to control the panels. I selected them and I turned the play position back to 0, and then I replayed them again. And now, as you can see, docking here is a bit challenging. I did manage to get on the 45 degree that the station is actually docks the Soyuzes too. However, later I do use that Soyuz there to move the off screen. I move the docking adapter at the very end there. But yeah, there we go. We have crew on the station, which is very nice. Now this rocket here, it's not a shuttle like was used in real life. I'm launching the Destiny United States lab here, along with external storage 1 and the pressurized mating adapter 3, which I forgot to launch with the Z1 truss. So because of that, I'm just launching it all in one. I'm launching 3 components all at once, just simply because the external storage things on the side of Destiny are really, really small. So small that dedicating a single launch to them seems just a little bit silly, because they are just small tiny boxes, probably a secondary payload in real life. I mean, I didn't research it that much because, they're just boxes attached to the side of it. They're not super interesting, so, I must admit, when I was building it, I didn't spend, as much time as I spent on something like the Russian modules. I spent maybe, a solid 5 minutes, looking at it and then deciding which box-like shaped bits would look best. Anyway, enough on that. Well, I probably spent more explaining it than actually building it, to be honest. This is the as you can see, I'm launching it on my soft Atlas recreation because, well, space shuttles are a pain to deal with. I mean, I could, but I'd rather not. And the people in the comments didn't have an issue with me not using a space shuttle, so, if you desperately want to see me use a space shuttle, then do let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep launching them this way, because that just seems to work fine. Anyway, here's me docking the lab. I must admit, it was quite difficult to dock it in the correct orientation. Not because, just because the visibility was a bit weird. And I had to do some checks, and yeah, I did quite a lot of checks to make sure that it was, actually properly in line. I then, decided that it wasn't actually in line, so I undocked it here, and I could actually see a lot better now that because we're coming up over the sunrise, so with much better visibility and knowing exactly where I had to position myself, rotation wise, etc, 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 I was able to rotate the module to the correct orientation and then dock it. As you can see, you can actually see the pressurized mating adapter there down the bottom, which I moved, off screen with the tug thing, and my solar panels have all corrected themselves, which is really nice. And we can now watch the United States main laboratory dock itself, and just like that, we now have, an extra module added to our project. Here's me just flipping to that and making sure that I got the docking port, in line, because that was how I was checking to make sure that was in line. And those boxes there are the external storage I mentioned earlier. And here I am launching the Quest joint airlock. Now this is one of the airlocks on the station, which allows for EVAs to be performed to the outside of the station, and it's also the first one that got launched. Now some of the other modules like PS and Rashvet, which were launched by the Russians, are in the Russian orbital segment. Rashvet was actually launched in a space shuttle, but it's still built by Russia and controlled by Russia, and it's got built-in airlock as well as docking capacities, same as PS. However, the Quest airlock is the main airlock, which is used for most EVAs, and it in fact does have another external storage set of boxes and stuff. However, this one was a bit more complicated, took me a little bit more time, and I'm in fact going to launch it later. I'll probably launch it as a secondary payload to whatever I'm launching next, just for a bit of fun, because launching all of the external storages to the with the main launch is a bit it's a bit dodgy, considering they were actually launched separately. But so yes, to honor that, I'll do probably the rest of them, especially the bigger ones, because the first one was pretty small. So to kind of honor the fact that it was kind of done that way, launched as secondary payloads and the likes, I figure well, here you can see me just correcting my inclination. Figure I'd show it for at least one, just because try as hard as I might, I can't quite master it. I can't quite here it is docking. Now, as you can see, this one of the radiator panels, in fact, I was planning on destroying 2 of them. You know, the way you can destroy radiator panels, but yeah, the one that I in fact didn't want to destroy was in fact destroyed somehow. So here I am docking, and this docking is rather challenging because I can't actually use the station to help me dock. I have to rely solely on the actual control of the module I'm trying to dock to the station, because if I try and use something like the SAS on the station, then the station's solar panels get the kinds of errors you saw earlier, but a lot worse, because instead of just being all twisted up, it's actually spinning, which is, or moving in and out kind of catastrophically, which is, and it can start to rip itself apart, which is great, which is why, you know, I have to use this. Anyway, as the final segment comes in, this is a pretty good spot to end the video, so you can watch as it nicely and gently mates, and we can say thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, and comment if you want to see anything done on my channel. Thank you.